Hey everybody, Professor Snart just checking in. We are getting right down to the end of our 1102 class, and I'm just going to get into our due dates here. So we have just finished up Unit 10, which was, there's really not a lot of work that you're doing through Blackboard so much as just the writing, the drafting of your paper. So that could include not just the writing component, but obviously maybe rereading the play or looking for particular quotes, reading through sources, outlining, revising, editing. So there's a whole bunch of things that are kind of going on at once here. So it's a busy unit, even though there's really not much as far as your actual interaction like through Blackboard is concerned. Okay, so that gets us into Unit 11, which is the last unit but has two components, and it's pretty clear, I think, in the due dates here. But the first due date is coming up on Monday, and it's the opportunity for you to post your paper, hopefully in fairly complete form, although maybe not quite there yet, to a discussion board in Unit 11 that allows you to sort of peer exchange. So there's groups that are formed. You can post your paper, get some feedback, give some feedback to other people. So the due date for that is Monday, March 7th. So you don't want to wait until Sunday at 11 p.m. to post your paper, because that's obviously really difficult for people to get back to you in time. But the way this works is really the due date is for you ideally to post and receive and give feedback, so it's all kind of complete by the due date. But many people might post a little bit later on Monday, and so won't have the opportunity to get feedback by Monday. In other words, as long as you've posted your paper by Monday, March 7th, then you've done things on time, but that still means you have to go in and provide some feedback to the other people in your group, even if you're doing that, let's say, on Tuesday, so after the due date. So the purpose of the peer editing, that due date is a little bit flexible, just so that people have the opportunity to get some feedback. And peer editing is one of those things that you're unlikely to have, major changes occur to your paper as the result of peer editing. Most people are just too sort of kind for that. And you may, in fact, just get more positive response than anything, which is good too. It lets you know that you're on the right track. Maybe somebody just catches a typo or a little inconsistency. So even that kind of stuff is really fulfilling the function of peer editing. It's not to get like perfect major feedback on your paper, but really just to get some positive confirmation that you're moving in the right direction, or some feedback from a reader who says maybe things could be a little different here or there, or obviously checking for MLA citations. If nothing else, you may just have some questions prompted that you want answered, by me, because I might be able to provide some more kind of yes or no to something being correct or incorrect, or just provide some feedback. So again, peer editing is important, but so invest time and energy in it, but we're not looking for major kind of topic changes at this point. Okay, so the second part of Unit 11 then is the very last day of our class when you're submitting the final paper, Thursday, March 10th. So that is, and I can't stress this enough, the last day. I can't accept work beyond that date. That's like the end of our class. Nothing happens after that. Be sure you indicate when you submit your paper if you want the actual document returned. Some people are just happy getting the grade back, and that's fine. If you want the document back, I can do that. If not, then just let me know. Either way, it doesn't matter. But of course, your grade will be returned in the same way through Blackboard regardless. So just let me know. If you don't let me know, I'll assume that you don't want it back because it's not that important. You'll just get the grade, which again is fine. All work has to be completed by that date, nothing afterwards. So honestly, I would make sure that you're submitting that file well in advance of the very end of Thursday, just in case there's some sort of technical issue. And if there is, I'll contact you immediately. So be sure you're checking email, your student email account. Don't be ignoring that, which is a problem for some people. Because again, we want to communicate if there's been some sort of technical glitch happen. Okay, So really this is old news by this point, but I'll say it one last time. Be sure that you have gotten enough feedback on your topic, and I'm just clicking into Unit 11 here, from me beyond just the first proposal that you did for Unit, I think it was 9 or 10, especially if you proposed a topic and I gave you some feedback about maybe changing it fundamentally or just little, nuances or refinements to it. Be sure you've kept in touch with me so that you do have a topic that's working. Review Unit 9, the final essay requirements, so you're understanding what primary sources can I use, what do I need to provide as far as secondary sources. Remember, you have to use a print secondary source, so a book about Death of a Salesman, for example, not a book about kind of general ideas like automobiles in the 1930s, not just all electronic sources. Of course, there's no web sources that you're using outside of just those databases that we have access to through the COD library website. So in some ways it's very clear cut in terms of what sources you're using, but in other ways it's easy to go off the rails. If you don't get those sources right, then you're really showing me you haven't learned what you have to learn in English 1102. So that means that the grade really suffers if there's source problems, citation problems, the works cited problems. Those are of utmost concern for us. If there's a typo here and there, like you've just kind of messed something up once, that's not a big deal. I understand that that happens. But if consistently through your paper you're not using correct in-text formatting, or not introducing or integrating sources effectively, if there's lots of problems with your works cited, if you haven't used the correct kinds of sources, that paper is unlikely to receive a passing grade. Because it counts for so much for the course, you're unlikely to pass the course if you really botch those things in the final paper. And that's, like I said before, kind of the good news and the bad news. The bad news is it counts for a lot, so it's really important. The good news is that it counts for a lot, and it's actually pretty easy to get right. There's lots of models and examples to follow throughout our course. There's the MLA citation links area. There's the opportunity for you to ask me directly, like, is this how you do it? Does this look right? And I won't look through your entire paper, but if you just give me an example that you're maybe unsure about, I'm more than happy to look at that and confirm, yes, it's right, no, it's not right. And if it's problems you've had in previous essays, then I've probably marked those as incorrect, so you've had the opportunity to learn the correct citation formatting from those previous writing assignments. So use the weight of this to your advantage to get it right and get all those points pretty easily, rather than have it work the other way and get really dinged for not getting it right. I think that's about it. Most of the stuff that we want to be concerned with here are, for the final essay, is really getting that topic, which most people have in place now, and then of course making sure that you're completing the assignment as far as the sources go, and that you're getting the citation component or the research component right. And it makes sense. This is the final paper in English 1102, which is the research class. So this is where we all want to tie kind of everything that we've been looking at in the course together. So I may check in a couple more times, but this is probably one of the last video announcements we'll do. And as always, especially now, if you have questions, specific, general, be in touch. Don't wait or struggle or just hope you get it right. That's the worst thing that you can do. Even if you just want to confirm what you're pretty sure is already correct and you're doing right, by all means, send me an email. It takes all of 5 minutes, and then you know for sure. So be in touch if you need to be, and otherwise I will look forward to reading everyone's final paper.